Hello, welcome to Guides the Unknown. I'm Kristen.
And I'm her little brother, William.
And in honor of the holiday season, we are going to be talking about demonic toys.
Of course.
Both the horrific seeming movie, we'll watch that, I didn't, so we will learn about that together. And also toys that are possessed.
All right.
IRL.
What better pairing could there possibly be around the holidays? Hanukkah and Christmas are happening simultaneously this year.
Yep.
So a lot of people may be receiving gifts and, listen, sometimes you get a baby Oopsie.
Yeah.
Let's say, from Demonic Toys. Sometimes you get a Dr. Static. I think that's his name, the robot guy. I don't know. We'll get into that.
These things happen.
The shocker of all shockers is that when I watched Demonic Toys, I realized, wait a minute, I've seen this before.
Really?
Yeah, I think I saw it on VHS when I was a kid.
Really? Oh my God.
Do
you think it was like a rental from Blockbuster or something?
I think it was like, go to a friend's house and this is what they have.
Yeah, somebody's like older sibling had it.
Right. And I had seen this before and I was sort of giving me like flashbacks in a sense.
Oh man. It had some sort of ring of inner truth for you.
Yes. Now, Guide to the Unknown, many people don't know this. We thrive in the audio space, but we do a video show as well. We record this show live on youtube.com/gttupod. And I say that right now because Kristen and I are in a festive mood.
Yes.
At the moment. We are each wearing very Christmassy hats.
Right.
Chrissy has the sort of classic red Santa hat with a buckle on the front in this particular instance.
Yeah. Kind of pilgrim-esque.
I've gone a little bit unconventional this year. I realized, you know what they say? They say that Santa's red suit was a contrivance by the Coca-Cola company.
Oh, right. Yeah.
They say that that's where they got the red from.
Right.
And I don't remember where we talked about this, but it was recent that I remembered something I'd forgotten. Our father used to collect Santas. And so he had these, Santa Claus statues, dolls, whatever. Yeah. But they seemed like they were almost from all over the globe.
Yes.
So it was all kinds of Santas wearing like a green robe, a purple robe. And it occurred to me like, if they say that Coca-Cola is responsible for making Santa red, why don't I go and do my own thing?
Absolutely.
I've got a black Santa hat on, still with white trim.
Right.
I like my contrast.
Of course.
And I had a vision, and I asked my wonderful partner, Allie, if she could make it a reality. Take one of my black hoodies, put some white trim on it, a nice cozy hoodie that I enjoy wearing every day.
Yeah.
And so I've got myself a black and white Santa suit.
Right. It came out fantastically.
Yeah, and I feel comfy, cozy.
Sure.
I feel like I could do some last-minute like Target runs in this with Zoe, and it would be silly or something like that. I'm going to wear this sucker on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
On Christmas Day. Try to stop me. I might wear it,
I wouldn't dare.
In the middle of April.
I would not dare to try to stop you.
Don't get in my way. I'm going to plow right over you like a bulldozer.
In your sleigh.
Yes, exactly. Well, what would I drive, though? Because the whole idea is to be like, take the holiday stuff and just make it fit your vibe.
Right.
Right? I want to be comfy in my hoodie.
Of course.
But I also enjoy sometimes dressing up like I've dressed like Santa many times.
Yeah, you like a costume.
I do like a costume. It's true.
Yeah.
But I've also I played Santa at an old job.
Yep.
That I did. I put white in my beard and did the whole thing. I've made videos for children before as Santa.
Yeah.
This is true. And now I like the idea that I've got a dark beard. Right?
Yeah.
I'm young Santa.
Yeah, well,
Well,
you're Santa.
You're right. Thank you for putting me back in my place, sis. Kristen I get texts from Kristen every day that just says, tick-tock, getting older every minute.
That's right.
Never lets me forget it.
Yeah, that's right. It's also a little generous to describe your beard as dark, but we can go right ahead.
Some parts of it are.
Yeah.
Zoe the other day said that my hair is purple because it's no longer dark. It's like salt and pepper, I guess.
Yeah.
And she didn't know what to say, and she was like, "It's purple." I think she could see colors coming in through the white.
Gray has like a purplish cast to it.
Is that right? Yeah. So, Yeah.
Aunt
Chrissy got to her, is what I'm trying to say.
Look, Aunt Chrissy's got plenty of purple, quote unquote, in her hair too. So
sure. I don't see it.
Well, it's under my hat right now, but
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
All right. I thought your hair was just fuzzy and pointy and red.
right.
All right.
So why don't you tell us about Demonic Toys, the movie?
Oh, I'm going first.
Yeah.
I'm not right. So, I don't know. I guess I thought I could forestall. I could delay.
You can't.
All right. We're going to talk about the movie Demonic Toys now.
Yeah.
This is a movie from 1992, which actually means that it's 30 years old. So this is also its anniversary.
Okay. Happy anniversary, Demonic Toys.
Happy anniversary. This is a movie, and I'm going to call out these credits for a very particular reason. Directed by Peter Manoogian. Mm-hmm. Written by David S. Goyer.
Yeah.
From a concept by Charles Band. One of those names might stick out to a few people out there. David S. Goyer is a very successful screenwriter, perhaps best known for writing The Dark Knight,
Yeah, so weird.
Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises, Blade. He wrote Man of Steel. He also wrote, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, like things that people would point to as like a bad mark of quality or something.
Right.
The point is, he's incredibly accomplished, has written some of the greatest movies ever produced,
Yeah.
and his third movie that he ever worked on was Demonic Toys for Full Moon Pictures.
You gotta start somewhere.
And I have to tell you, watching this junk/trash movie about toys that come to life and kill you, literally a baby doll, baby Oopsie,
Right.
comes to life and stabs somebody.
Baby Oopsie.
and stabs people and then goes, Oopsie.
Oy.
That's the game that's afoot. It's actually a fairly well considered and structured film,
Okay.
even though I'm obviously grading on a curve.
Right.
I started watching Demonic Toys expecting it to be like almost unbearable. Dreck. And because I had that expectation, it ended up sort of surprising me at a couple of turns, and maybe it'll surprise the rest of you.
Okay, great.
We'll see.
Let's find out together.
This is some of the here are some of the taglines to whet your appetite, right? You're not sure if you should go in and see this thing. The tagline might sell you. For 66 years, evil has been watching, waiting, and wanting for someone to play with its toys.
It's a long tagline.
Very long, but also like wildly accurate. There's an evil demon in this movie.
It's been laying in wait.
Yes.
Okay.
And it can only use its energy. It took a lot of energy to bring these toys to life. It needed this to happen.
Yeah.
Another tagline, Playtime has begun.
Okay.
They want to play with you.
Ah!
It's the inverse. Usually I want to play with toys.
Yeah.
They want to play with me. So, the movie opens with two undercover cops, and one of them is explaining a nightmare that she had, or just a dream she keeps having. This is Judith Gray, undercover cop, main character. She has a dream where she is sitting in a room that is full of grandfather clocks. It's a little trippy. It made me think a little bit of Stranger Things season 4 with all the grandfather clock stuff and the upside down.
Yeah.
There are two boys, like 8-year-olds, sitting on the ground playing the card game War. So if you don't know what that is, almost like you each flip up a card, and a 2 beats two beats nothing. I don't know why I started with 2. A 10 beats an 8.
Yeah.
Right. So somebody would win that hand when you flip up those cards. But if you both flip up the same card, you're in a war, as it's called, and there's like a different phase of the game. The two kids on the ground are locked in war.
In a battle for the ages.
They flip up their cards, and it's always the same one as each other. They each of them has a jack. Each of them has an ace. One of them has blonde hair. One of them has dark hair. One of them has like green contacts in his eyes and long nails. So obviously this is some sort of a metaphor for like good
and evil. Yeah.
Yes. And they're locked in a battle, a war, right?
Heady stuff.
I'm not saying that it's going to blow your hair back and impress you. I'm saying you sort of, within minutes, you're like, oh, I can already sort of see what this is going to be about. Which is how structure in a movie often works, where you sometimes look at something at the beginning and you can extrapolate, like, oh, I bet it's going to go in this direction or that direction, but I don't know which one.
Right.
But I sort of know what we're up against. And it tells you that somebody who's writing this sort of has a plan.
Okay.
It's like, to me, it was comforting.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, somebody cares.
Right.
It's not just like somebody's in the shower and a toy comes in,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So
Yeah, there's a
anyway,
little more to it.
a little more, very little more, but a little more. So this undercover duo are also dating. Mm-hmm. She reveals to him she's pregnant,
Okay.
and he's going to be a dada.
They're gonna have to get some toys.
Except they're about to get embroiled in an arms deal with these two criminal guys, and it goes south fast. Dada Cop is shot by one of the bad guys. He also shoots one of the bad guys.
Okay.
As Judith is tending to her boyfriend partner, the bad guys run off, one of them limping because he's been shot, and they take refuge in an abandoned toy
Of course.
warehouse or toy factory or something.
Of course they do.
Which one of them, having been shot, is like crawling in, basically like about to die, looking around at all the toys, and even goes like, "Oh, these fudging toys."
Yeah.
Falls down in a spotlight, and his blood drips into a crack in the ground, which seems to bring the toys to life.
Yeah.
This is 1992. Several years earlier, I want to say like 88, Child's Play
Yeah.
did exactly this.
Yes.
Where Charles Lee Ray has been shot, the Southside Strangler, has been shot by a cop, runs and ends up in a toy store.
Yeah, it's a bold move on Demonic Toys' part.
Bold or just theft?
It sounds like theft. It's like exactly what happens.
Is it just
It's a
taking-
shootout with cops, and the bad guy goes into a toy store / factory.
and his
Right.
dying act revives the toys.
Yes.
But at this point, I was sort of like, well, wait a minute. Like, also, this is a 1992 movie put out by Full Moon Pictures. Mm-hmm. Budget, production value, it's not.
All it sounds like all the quality of one of those movies that you would see at Blockbuster with a funny cover
Yes.
that you bring home and it looks like your friend shot it.
That's correct. Yes. The dolls themselves, the evil dolls, like Baby Oopsie, looks like a stupid, gross hand puppet.
Yeah.
When the guy who was shot is dying and he sees all the dolls, it's like normal baby dolls everywhere, normal teddy bears everywhere.
And then is there
cam-
every once in a while just like a freaky looking one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I wonder which one's going to wake up.
Right.
Oh, I wonder which one is Baby Oopsie. Yeah. Is it the one with like a disgusting, like...
With like sharp teeth.
Yeah. There's a teddy bear one that does not look like it was ever going to be a cuddly, nice teddy bear. It looks like it was only made to be a monster.
Right.
And the second that he's in the spotlight and his blood drips, these things like immediately wake up.
Yeah.
No, voodoo incantation and I'm like, are these dolls just waking up on their own? Like,
What is the
just,
deal?
It's just happening?
Is that all
there
there is to it?
No.
Okay.
No. We'll get that dream
Yeah.
foretold something, Kristen. There's a reason why I shared it with you.
Of course.
But first, we've got to meet more characters. There's an undercover, or no. There's a disgusting security guard, like a gross security guard guy who works in this factory, and we meet him as he's placing an order over the phone with Chunky Chicken.
Cool.
And he's trying to get in touch with like a rebel guy who works at Chunky Chicken. He's like, come on, man, just give me the number 2 spicy, extra chunky sauce, whatever, and make it snappy. And don't forget the honey for my biscuits this time, you little shit. Like, it's like really aggressive and weird. And at Chunky Chicken, we see Rebel guy, who's going to be one of our main characters. He's smoking a cigarette and just grabbing chicken off the counter and throwing it in a bag. Content warning-ish for the things I'm telling you about demonic toys.
Okay.
But this, I couldn't not mention this because I thought this was a bizarre moment. I thought it was a little funny and very like 80s, early 90s-ish to be like somebody's in a fast food place with a cigarette dangling out of their mouth as they grab the food without gloves.
Yeah.
Right? Like it feels like some sort of a like anti-consumerism
Right.
sort of message. Fast food is bad.
Yeah.
But this is one of our heroes. And his boss comes out and goes, "Excuse me, employee, rebellious boy. Is that a cigarette in your mouth that I see?" Trying to chastise him. And Rebel Boy's comeback. He goes, "No, it's your dick."
Oh, okay.
And I
Cool joke.
took a note and I don't know what it means.
Perfect joke, beautifully executed.
What does it mean?
Nothing.
It has to mean something.
No, it doesn't.
Is he saying
What are you looking for?
Or is he saying it's as teeny as a cigarette?
As your little wiener?
But also it's in my mouth.
I don't know. No, I think it's just as dumb as nothing.
When somebody just goes like, your mother, and it like
Yes.
is detached of devoid
Yes,
of
I don't think it
context.
means anything. Like, what do you think it is? It's a cigarette. Oh, it's your dick. I think,
That's weird. It's like his
Of course
stupid
it
thing.
is.
It doesn't make me like you.
right.
But that's what it's supposed to be in a movie, to be like he's such a bad boy. But I was like, I don't understand.
Perhaps
And there
for
I am
a
sitting
certain person.
like a pupil.
At the feet of demonic toys.
Yes.
Teach me.
Dutifully taking notes on papyrus with a quill.
Right.
Writing this quote down.
Right.
So I don't forget to say it to you.
Right.
Because I was completely flummoxed. Had no
Why?
idea.
Haven't you seen a bad movie before? They just say shit.
But I don't know. Yes, they do, and no, they don't. Like you write it, you don't accidentally write something down. It doesn't accidentally get to the final draft. It doesn't accidentally get shot and kept in the movie, unless somebody's like, "That's a cool joke," or "That's
yeah.
a funny joke."
Yeah.
and I just don't get the joke. So
Right.
That's all I'm saying. So these are going to be like key characters that we're going to know for a good long time.
Yeah.
Chunky Chicken Rebel Guy will deliver the chicken.
Do you know his name?
No.
Really?
Uh,
Okay.
I don't know. It didn't matter to me.
Let's just call him Bob.
We'll call him Bob.
Yeah.
It didn't matter to me who Bob was or anything.
But you lingered on the cigarette joke.
It just, it stood out. I couldn't help but notice it.
Sure.
Just like I couldn't help but notice this other moment.
Yeah.
He delivers the chicken, and gross security guard, and I couldn't tell, like they're friends, I guess. Mm-hmm. Gross security guard orders this chicken every day or week or something, whatever. Bob from Chunky Chicken goes like, got a tea by midnight, like always. I'm like, is this a date? Are you friends?
Yeah.
And then he sits down in a chair to hang out.
Oh.
So security guard opens up a Playboy and shows him the centerfold model, a
Yeah.
nudie lady.
Yeah.
And he goes, look at that. And I almost thought that cool Chunky Chicken Rebel Guy would have to be like, yeah, pretty cool, Ned. Like just sort of be like, but I get the real thing. Something
right,
to make
totally.
something to make Rebel Guy seem cool
Yeah.
as opposed to gross security guard. He takes the magazine. He goes, look at that. Camera cuts away. When it cuts back, his mouth is on it.
What is going on? This is the second movie that one of us has had to watch in recent months where this has happened.
Yes.
This is a phenomenon. This also
Yes.
happened in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake.
No, Friday the 13th reboot.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Because it feels like Texas Chainsaw. I know
Yes.
exactly where that came from.
Yeah.
Yeah, a guy licks a magazine on
Right.
Friday the 13th. And the kid here, I watched it a few times. I scrubbed back.
Uh-huh.
I turned a big dial to like bring it back frame by frame. He's either got his mouth on it, on the paper,
Yeah.
or his nose. He's either sniffing. I
This
don't
movie
know.
sucks.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening.
Boy.
But here's what we're up against. Let's get back to the fact that this is ostensibly about toys,
Sure.
because I sort of got away from that. Our cast of demonic toys. Mm-hmm. We've got, as I mentioned, baby Oopsie Daisy.
Yeah.
This is a classic sort of like baby doll. It's wearing some sort of little baby pajamas.
Yep.
Right. Now, I have to assume that there was I think we're all aware of at least the joke of that doll that's like, and it pees.
Right.
Because that was a real toy that was on the market. Like you could feed a baby doll a bottle and then it'll wet its diaper.
Yeah.
That's disgusting, but that was a thing that was on the market.
Right.
Baby Oopsie Daisy, when it wakes up, has a line. It says, okay, he attacks the gross guard eventually. He will kill this guard. Mm-hmm. But he says, hey, you fat fudge, I'm baby Oopsie Daisy, you lard ass.
So it sounds like they were kind of like taking Child's Play, obviously, as inspiration, let's say, but dialing it up, perhaps? Do you think that this is like the even cruder, like rougher Chucky?
I think I have to assume this is the same company that would make Evil Bong and Ginger Dead Man.
Yeah.
I think they knew, like, we're making crap.
Yeah, right.
Right?
No, I think definitely.
Anyway. So, I think that they knew, like, we're making bottom of the barrel garbage.
Yeah.
And so we're going to lean in as much as possible.
Right.
So Baby Oopsie Daisy goes on to say, so he calls him not only a fat fudge and a lard ass. It continues. This is all one quote. Will you be my special friend? I can walk. I can talk. I can even shit my pants. Oh, God. Can you shit your pants?
Did he say that?
Yes.
And what was the answer?
I think he shoots the cop with a gun? The security guard?
Wait. I'm confused.
Yes. So am I.
Wait. Okay, so he just says, can you shit your pants? And then Baby Oopsie shoots the cop with security gun. Is that what you're saying? So there's not...
No. Baby Oopsie says all of that. The cop didn't say anything.
Right, okay, maybe I just said
He
something
says,
wrong.
I can walk, I can talk,
Right.
I can even shit my pants.
And then
can
he
you
shoots...
shit your pants?
And then he shoots the cop. Okay, I was wondering what the cop's answer was. Gotcha.
And then starts stabbing the cop.
Okay.
This is not
Really
your
making sure-
typical baby doll.
Making sure the job's done.
That's exactly right,
Yeah.
Kristen. So that's Baby Oopsie Daisy. Shows up in every sequel, not that there are many. Even got its own standalone movie a few years ago, Baby Oopsie Daisy.
Yeah.
The most notable one, the most recognizable one, I think, if anybody knows this franchise, is a Jack in the Box.
Right.
But when you spin it, out pops a clown on a spring, like a clown head on a spring.
Yeah.
But I'm not really sure what's going on. The clown head is horrifying.
Yeah.
Like, this was not a toy. Like, none of these toys. And this is where it's like, what was the goal here? Is it like these dolls came to life and became grotesque versions of the dolls? Or
That's
these
a
are
good
just
question.
dolls that were animated and are doing bad things?
Right, because a definite departure, it seems like, from Child's Play is that, like, Chucky looks like, except for when he's mad,
Yeah.
looks like a doll that you could buy.
Yes.
Definitely none of these would be existing on the shelf. Like,
No, they
this
all look
clown
horrible.
thing is kind of in the style of Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yes. He's got fangs and, like, bloodshot eyes.
Yeah.
But also the fact that, like, a Jack in the Box is usually like something on a spring. They've now extrapolated in the movie that tube body is not just a spring. He's basically a snake.
Yeah.
And there is a snake tail in that box as well that can come out and shake a baby rattle.
Oh.
But also, Baby Oopsie Daisy has, like, a potty mouth, like, talks to people.
Sounds like it.
And will, like shout stuff at you.
Sounds like Baby Oopsie uses rough language.
Oh, boy. There is some bad language in this movie.
That baby would get in trouble.
Not for Kinder.
Yeah.
Let's just say that...
For Kinderfolk.
I think old Krampus would be paying these dolls a visit.
Uh-huh.
So, for some reason, even though Jack Attack, the Jack in the Box clown snake, has a mouth and a humanoid face,
Yeah.
it's like human features, he can't talk. He only laughs. But his laugh is an incessant, like, yeah, ah, ha, and it'll play for like, 2 minutes at a time.
Yeah. God.
It is so long and obnoxious.
Uh-huh.
And he can coil his snake body around people's necks and stuff. This is like the image that, like, he's almost like an icon of demonic toys.
Yeah.
But he's nothing.
Weird.
I don't understand why.
I guess they just like the visual or something. I seriously have never seen any of this before.
Really?
This is brand new to my eye as of when we decided to do this last week. I'd never heard of the movie, and I've never seen these images.
It was very hard deciding on the topic for this week because we each were talking about, like, we'll do demonic toys. And Kristen was like, great, so I'll look up, like, a bunch of, like, real life stuff. And I was like, no. We should watch the movies.
I didn't understand.
And I only thought of them as the movie, not the real life versions of toys.
Yeah, we had a big disconnect.
We're at cross purposes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think most people don't know this exists, and I think that's for the best.
Right. I was better before.
If anything, I think I'm hurting the world by
Yeah.
reminding some people,
By
or
spreading this.
potentially introducing some folks who might never have encountered this before.
Right.
Now you know. Mm-hmm. Anyway.
Yeah, now you know to avoid it.
Sure. Although I do think that this is not... Well, anyway. There's Grizzly Teddy. It's a teddy bear, but it's got fangs.
Yeah.
Whatever. At some point in the movie, it becomes like a big man in a suit for no clear reason that I can figure out. And the last, most boring one possible is Mr. Static.
Yeah.
He is a robot.
He really doesn't look scary.
No, he looks like a boring robot on like tank treads, and he can shoot laser beams.
Yeah.
It's like they were like, I don't know, well, we should make a fourth real quick.
Right.
It's like, what, Mr. Static, who cares? So, here's the plot of the movie. Now we've got everybody's in the warehouse, right? And they're aware that these toys just killed the security guard, so there are evil toys about.
Yeah.
Officer Judith Gray, she's lost her partner. One of the bad guys died, and his death brought these toys to life.
Yeah.
She's captured the last bad guy. But she starts having like visions of one of the boys from her dream. The boy with the dark hair and the yellow eyes and the claws for hands. It turns out that there was a demon here 66 years ago. A demon tried to be birthed through a human woman into our world. This is shown in a flashback.
Okay.
He explains this to Judith. He keeps like hounding her and like saying tantalizing, teasing things, and then he ends up warping her inside a dollhouse with him.
Yeah.
So you would think that it's supposed to be like everything, like all the furniture in this room should look like toys. They didn't do that. It looks like they're just like in a kid's bedroom.
Yeah.
But he's like, this is a dollhouse. It's a part of the netherworld. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
And he explains his entire plot. So, 66 years ago, he was almost born to a human woman. They show a farmhouse where a kindly old doctor, it's like Ma and Pa Kent. You know, it's like kind old farm folk are helping a lady give birth. They're like, it's almost here. It's almost here. And the baby that comes out has devil horns. And it looks like Voldemort's like Horcrux version of Voldemort, you know?
Yeah, yep.
It's like knees like clutched up to his chest.
Yeah, it's not fully formed.
Correct. And it's dead upon birth. And they go like, I'm so sorry, but he was born dead. And you realize they're not talking to the woman at all.
Yeah.
They're talking to the dead body that they've got. And they go, you'll just have to try again, little fella.
So it's like a troop of people who were trying to bring this demon into the world?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's very Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah.
Because it's old folks who worship Satan.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Love
so that's
that.
kind of fun.
Yeah.
And we learned that was Halloween night because in that moment, knock, 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 there are trick-or-treaters at the front door. Like classic little kids dressed up like a skeleton and stuff.
Yeah.
And they go trick-or-treat. And the guy goes, well, I'll give you kids something much better than candy. And he comes out with a large bundle wrapped in black fabric. And he goes, here you go. Think of it like a seed. This happens as, like, casually as I'm saying it to you. These kids just showed up. And
Is it the baby thing?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
He gives them the corpse of a baby demon. He puts it in one of their trick-or-treat bags and goes, put it in the earth, and someday it'll try to be reborn. He says
Why
this
is
to
he
children.
making the kids do that?
I don't know.
Maybe it's part of the prophecy.
I don't know. The kids are just unwitting.
That's so unreliable. Like, if that's important for this to be buried so that it can be reborn, you don't know that the kids are going to do that.
Yeah.
Quite a gamble.
A tremendous gamble.
Yeah.
Tremendous gamble. But the kids just go, thank you, and leave.
Yeah.
And I was like, is this it? Like, it felt like it was going to come back from the flashback for a second.
Yeah.
But it shows that the kids went to what would eventually become the site of this toy factory. And they opened their trick-or-treat bags, opened the black fabric, saw the corpse of a demon baby.
Yeah.
Went, ah! And dropped it. And it made a cartoonish squishing sound as it landed in a hole.
Oh, my God.
Over the course of 66 years, a factory was built over that spot.
Or did a factory spring
I know.
from the seed of that thing?
It built a factory itself.
Yeah.
Until one night, a man lay down on that spot and bled out from being shot.
Oh, my God.
And his blood brought the demon back, who has possessed these dolls. All of them are doing his bidding.
Yeah.
He says, I'm quite weak. It took a lot of my energy to bring the dolls to life. But I will grow stronger with every death.
Ah.
So it's an investment.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
spending a lot of energy to bring these dolls to life, knowing
But
that they're going to kill everyone in here. Rebel guy, security guard, cop, and secret runaway girl who's been living in the air shafts.
Oh.
She's there too. So all these people will die. It'll make the demon stronger. Plus, Officer Judith Gray is pregnant.
Yeah.
So the demon knows this, and his ultimate plan is to possess her, eat the soul of her unborn child, and then be born through her.
Oh, man.
And come to life and take over the world.
Boy, well, you know what?
That is ultimately the plot of Demonic Toys.
That's crazy. And I think let's find out what happens ultimately, right?
I mean, you can probably guess. It's a tale as old as time.
Yeah. What happens?
I don't know. It occurred to me that when I was like, I bet you can guess. I was like, actually, it is stupid and weird. It's not as if you could go like, here are the ingredients I have. I know what's being made.
Yeah, it's not like this is a formulaic thing where we're like, oh, of course. Yeah. Well, we will find out from Will what happens in Demonic Toys after these words from us.
Yes.
We just want to let you know that we have a Patreon that you can become a member of if you would like to support the show. And if you would like to get a bunch of bonuses back as a thank you for doing so. It is so super important. It is the lifeblood of Guides the Unknown. It is as though you are falling on our factory floor, dripping some blood and bringing us to life.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, so you can go to patreon.com/GTTUpod, cruise around, see the tiers, figure out what works best for you, and then choose something and get back up to a bonus episode every single week in return, because we have a whole separate podcast called the Netherworld Dispatch that comes out every Monday.
Yeah.
So go check that out at patreon.com/GTTUpod.
The most recent episode, we watch and discuss the latest teaser trailer for Scream 6, by which I mean the only teaser trailer, the first footage that we've seen of the movie.
Yeah.
We watch it, discuss it. We talk about the show Wednesday. We get into a lot of like pop culture news, which was very fun. That's literally out right this second.
Yeah.
So go there, find a tier that fits you, and have a good time. Patreon.com/GTTUpod. Yeah, why do I feel like there was something else that I wanted to say about you?
I don't know.
Didn't something really cool happen with you? It did. What just happened? Oh, I remember what happened with you.
Oh, the Ancient Aliens thing?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't mention this.
You know,
I think it bears mentioning.
Sure.
The Guide to the This is where like sometimes I like a podcast as sort of like a document in time. You know, like a diary to some extent.
Yeah.
Kristen at some point wrote an article about the Hat Man, right?
Yeah, he's kind of like a sleep paralysis demon that people have seen.
We've covered the Hat Man on this show.
Yep.
But Chrissy wrote an article for a publication called Hunt a Killer. Not really sure what it is. But so Kristen wrote this article and put it out there. It was very popular. And a listener of the show...
Yeah, our listener Chris was watching Ancient Aliens, and he emailed us and said, hey, your article was on Ancient Aliens. And it turns out that they just have a screenshot of the article on the screen for a second.
It's very cool.
Yeah, it's very weird.
It's weird. It like attributes it to a different writer, but it is you who wrote it.
I know. They must have just had some RSS reader that they had access to. And this is part of why it doesn't make that much of a dent for me, because it feels like it has like nothing to do with me. They just searched the Hat Man, saw that there was something, screenshotted it, put it on the show.
But it's weird that they can do that.
Isn't
that material like owned by theoretically Hunt a Killer?
I would think.
But when you look at it, if you look at the moment, if you look at this episode of Ancient Aliens, it's all about shadow beings.
Yeah.
When they post the article, they like show the article's like byline or whatever. It doesn't say your name, except it shows the top like of the article itself, and it says, for more of Kristen, follow at Chillin' Kristen of, she's from Guide to the Unknown.
Right.
Like it says a bunch of stuff.
I know. It's so weird.
It was really, I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think that like if we were better at like marketing ourselves or something, I feel like we should really have been like leveraging and been like, hey, History Channel, hey, Discovery Plus, you used Kristen's article. You might like to hear her talk.
Yeah.
On one of your shows. If you're
you
going
did do that.
I did, but like I'm the kind of person like I'll tweet something one time and leave it be. Meanwhile, like I saw today, Apple was like introducing And I was like, oh, they have a new product? The new iPhone 14. It's like iPhone 14 came out a month ago.
Yeah, right.
Most people market and they're like, this is new, this is new, this is new for months.
Well, they also have staff.
There's nothing to stop me from doing these things, Kristen.
Okay.
Except my own dignity. I don't know what it is.
Right.
But like this is the stuff that we should be doing. Because I want to see you on the History Channel.
I would have nothing to say on Ancient Aliens.
Bull spit. You are a specialist in pop culture. You are a specialist in the way that people react to folklore. And you have a popular podcast that speaks specifically about these topics.
That is true. That is true.
I'm telling you.
Get us on there.
Get us on there, everybody. Whoever is listening, get us on some publications.
Yeah.
We need you.
Yeah.
I'm throwing myself in there now, too.
As you should.
Help me.
As you should. It was completely, I'm telling you, it was completely random that
awesome.
They chose my thing. It has nothing to do with me at all. So you should, if we're talking about being talking heads, you should certainly be.
But Chrissy, you don't know that. You don't know that somebody behind the scenes didn't like look up stuff about the Hat Man, go, I liked this one. This is the one I'm putting in.
Perhaps.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm... Again, I don't think that things happen. We've frequently had this debate on this show a few times where it's like, that cigarette joke, right? This is a good example of it where I'm like, but what does it mean? It's funny because like, for you, you're so willing in matters of like pop culture stuff or productions to be like, it doesn't mean anything. It's just in there. Who cares?
Yeah.
But I'm always like, no. It took work for it to get there. So it means,
but like,
it's like when we look for like meaning in life, you know, where like some people will see like a sign in the clouds or something. And I would say it's just clouds.
Yeah.
Right. We're reversed on this. If it made it into a production, I'm assuming that somebody had a thought about it somewhere.
They may have, but also I think in any kind of work that anybody does, you've had jobs, I've had jobs. You definitely have to just like, all right, I just have to get this done, do stuff. That happens all the time. So I just don't, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit more than that, and I think you deserve 1,000 kudos and pats on the back.
Well, thank you.
All right, they use a flamethrower on Baby Oopsie. Let's get back to it. They use a flamethrower on Baby Oopsie. The rebel guy uses a shotgun. He blows the snake clown's head clean off.
Yeah. Okay, so they're like annihilated.
They're fighting back.
Yeah.
Let's get to the stupid stuff that really happened. So they're like crawling around in like air ducts, and for some reason they look out and they're like, "Oh my god, look!" And it's little girls. It's like at least 3 little girls riding tricycles through the warehouse. And they have gas masks on.
Okay.
And they're riding, and they look, and they see them up in the air shaft, and they point. And that's how the toys know that they're in there.
Oh.
Those girls are not toys.
Okay.
The
Why
runaway.
Are they there?
You remember I mentioned like a runaway had been living in the air vents? For some reason, she's like, yeah, they're hallucinations. They're sentries. They're not like the toys. But they work for the toys. Like,
so there's some sort of supernatural beings?
how do you know this? Why do you know this? How do you know this? What's going on?
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening. But like there's all of a sudden just like imagery that doesn't connect to toys or the demons. Like I guess maybe they work for the demon. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But these girls in gas masks, it's like they came from a different movie.
It sounds like it.
It's bizarre.
Weird.
But so the original dream that Officer Judy had was 2 boys playing war. Mm-hmm. One of them was bad, one of them was good. The good boy starts getting involved.
Fighting back.
She is finally like tied down to the spot, the spot in the spotlight where blood brought back the
at the
toys
factory
in the first place. She's tied down. The demon is winning, and he keeps talking about how they need to do, quote, the nasty.
Okay.
This is said several times.
The nasty.
I'll do the nasty, he says. Several times.
God.
At least twice.
So the demon's a loser.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
As most demons are. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm yet to see a cool one. But so, Black Phillip. Mm-hmm. Like Black Phillip.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm.
So, a little toy soldier, almost like a claymation Christmas special toy soldier thing, comes up and cuts these binds that are tying her to the ground.
Yeah.
Like stakes. And then becomes a child. This toy, just like in the blink of an eye, anamorphs into a little boy dressed like a toy soldier. The demon and he fight. They're two children. They're like both 8-year-olds.
What?
I know. Yep. Because the ultimate bad guy here is, he's like, I can present myself however I want.
Uh-huh.
And to prove it, he becomes just like a random zombie. He becomes the dead boyfriend cop.
But what's up with the little boy?
Yes. So there's a good spirit.
Okay.
Right? So it will be explained. They basically just stab the demon in the chest with the toy soldier bayonet, and he dies.
Okay.
Which is weird. But so good has won.
Finally.
This is really weird too. There's the chunky chicken guy.
Yeah.
He's just off on his own adventure. The girl in the air vents, the runaway, she gets killed. She gets stabbed in the face by baby Oopsie and it kills her. Chunky chicken sets his car on fire. He sets his car on fire. Ostensibly, it's like one of those things where it's like he like leaks the gasoline. He's gonna blow up the whole factory.
Yeah.
They do that like it's gonna be like the whole thing's gonna explode. But they cut back to the lady, where she learns that the good boy is a spirit as well because he hasn't been born yet.
Oh.
That is her unborn child.
Oh.
She's 31 days pregnant.
Wow.
And she goes, "What's your name?" And he goes, "You haven't given me one yet." And he helped her defeat the demon.
Wow.
And then Chunky Chicken runs in like he's like, "We gotta get out of here. I set the building on fire," kind of thing. And he goes, I sense in here that it's over. It's finally over. I'm like, yeah, you set your Chunky Chicken mobile on fire for nothing.
Right.
And I sort of wondered if, like, in his head, he's like, my boss is going to be pissed.
Yeah, definitely.
Destroy the Chunky Chicken.
Surprised there wasn't a line like that.
I know. There's not, though. It's like almost just, like, irrelevant.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But then it just gets, like, very, like, I don't know. She goes, "Goodbye, little boy." And the little boy turns back into the toy soldier guy and like salutes.
This is so weird.
Salutes, and it fades to black and the credits start rolling.
What a weird movie.
It's bizarre.
Strange.
It's bizarre.
And so in the end, all of these toys are destroyed, right?
Yes. Teddy bear becomes a giant teddy bear, gets smashed by the car.
Right.
That's probably why the car gets set on fire in the first place, is to blow him up.
Okay.
It felt like it was supposed to blow up everything. Snake Clown gets his head shot off with a shotgun. He's gone. Baby Oopsie gets flamethrowered in the face.
Yeah.
And then...
And yet they come back for sequels, is really where I'm going.
Well, because the sequels, to my understanding, and we'll take a look on the Netherworld Dispatch, the sequels sort of ignore... Like, it's like stuff where it's like another demon is resurrected. You think that they would just use any toys.
Yeah.
But they want to use these toys.
Right.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's surprising.
It
to me.
seems
But
like
I mean, I guess they just need to because these are the toys we know as an audience.
These are our icons.
But it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense.
No, because also these suck.
Right.
So if you've gotten the green light for a sequel,
No, they certainly look like crap.
do something better.
Yeah.
Let the clown thing talk. People love a scary clown. You'd think that he would be some sort of a ringleader.
I guess they were a hit in some shape or form.
In some corner of the world, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because they must have felt that the demand was high enough.
And I'm not sure how Mr. Static died, the robot, Mr. Sphincter.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Mr. Sphincter. Yeah.
But the movie sucks.
Yeah.
I did write down a couple of reviews. One's very short. 2 out of 5 stars. Terrible movie. Probably one of the worst horror movies I've ever seen. Terrible when I was a kid and terrible now. Which I
Right
liked.
to the point.
And then this one I wrote down because it reminded me of how like classic movie reviewers talk, where it's like all full of alliteration. And I wanted to attempt it. This is The Weirdling Wolf. The demonic toys are cuter than hell, and always slay well with others.
Yeah.
Like puns and alliterations. So
Yeah.
here we go. Director Peter Eliminator's Manugian's majestically mayhem-packed antisocial automaton fight fest demonic toys remains a full moon fan favorite for the most righteous of reasons.
Wow.
As the boisterously bedeviled B-movie ingredients of bodaciously butt-kicking, skull-crushing cop Judith Gray, Tracy Scoggins, and her reluctant, wise-assed punk sidekick doing forceful battle against hellacious hordes of wantonly warehouse-trashing, tripped-out terror toys in the absolutely monkey-nutso, hell-raising, pizza and fear midnight movie VHS-era classic Demonic Toys.
Wow.
I'm not even sure if that sentence structure ultimately ended up working. I'm not sure.
It doesn't feel like it did.
It doesn't feel like I said anything.
Yeah.
But you know that cadence
Oh,
of
definitely.
like
Yeah, like
movie
Gene
review.
Shalit wrote that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alliteration and puns.
That's so funny.
I love that they called it absolutely monkey nutso.
That's a crazy thing to say. Yeah.
I assume that person writes every review like that, and more power
I would
to
have
them.
to assume. Yeah, absolutely. There are people who probably love the reviews and like follow them on Amazon to see what they say.
Hell yeah.
It's so funny.
Tastemaker.
All right. So from the fictional world of demonic toys to the real.
Yes.
I started researching and it was pretty much all about possessed dolls, which is actually all about possessed dolls. When I searched for demonic toys, haunted toys, possessed toys, all doll stuff. And I was like, well, I kind of wanted to do something a little bit different. And I had a vague memory of having seen an episode of the show Paranormal Witness where there were a bunch of toys that all of a sudden started moving.
Oh, okay.
So I decided to seek that out. I'm going to tell you about that episode.
Excellent.
Turns out the toys are kind of a footnote.
Really?
Not the hugest deal.
Okay.
And yet, it's still a pretty fun, interesting story.
Very well.
So I decided to still do it. Still kind of like childhood centric. It actually, some stuff happens around the holidays.
Excellent. Perfect.
So why not?
There you go.
So here's the deal. This is a story that took place in Virginia Beach in 2008. And there was a family with a husband who his name is Mike. The wife is Lisa. And they had a son named Zach at this point. They got a Ouija board because their friends had told them about it. And they started trying to contact family with it, doing it kind of casually. And they felt like they got feedback, like things were tracking. And so they got way into it, where they started using it like 2 or 3 times a day. They're like hooked on the Ouija board, wow. Mike and Lisa. Zach, their son, who seems like he was maybe like a preteen at the time or something, wasn't into it. He said they were taking it way too seriously and just like not for him. But Lisa felt like her skepticism was falling away because she just kept getting answers that resonated from the Ouija board over and over. So she kept playing with it until about a month in. So Lisa and Mike sit down to have a nice board sesh, and they ask, is there any friendly spirit here who would like to come forth and communicate with us? The board said no, and then the vibe in the room shifted. And the board spelled out the name Vox, V-O-X. And then the planchette started flying around the board and moving really fast.
Oh, no.
And everything that was happening, all the conversation from the beyond, was about or directed toward Lisa, saying that they love her, that Mike is lucky that he gets to sleep with her, that she's a porn star, like weird stuff. And they said that they were barely touching it, but the planchette is just zooming all over the board. Then it zoomed over to goodbye. But after that, it spelled out, you will never be rid of me.
Whoa. Oh, no.
So they were fully freaked out. And then it started counting down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6,
sliding across the
5,
board.
just along the board. And then they didn't let it go further. They like threw the planchette. And they were freaked out and they put the board away and decided to stop messing with this. So they put it in a closet upstairs and they didn't touch it for a really long time. It seems like it was maybe a year or two. And then weird things started happening at home again, even though they weren't touching the board. Strange stuff is afoot. And by this time they had a new baby whose name was Brody. So
when was this?
It was in 2008.
Really? Because with Zach and Brody, I'm thinking like 90s, but okay.
Yeah, Zach and Brody are pretty 90s names. Yeah. So Lisa would be like home alone with just the baby upstairs, and she started hearing footsteps this one time. And she was like, oh, I wonder if Mike came home when I didn't realize it, and called out for him. But of course, nobody was there. Things started feeling kind of like heavy and weird in the house. So she decided to go upstairs and check the sleeping baby, who was doing just fine, just still sleeping, when the closet doors in the baby's room just flew open. And she was like, that's strange. I don't know. Don't like that. Close the doors. Went along with her business. And then it seemed to kind of ramp up from there. Like one time they were sitting on the couch watching TV and they had a sense of something just like whooshing between their heads. one time Lisa's in the kitchen and she felt a tug on her shirt. And there was another time where Mike came from the kitchen with a tasty snack of some pizza to offer her.
That is tasty.
Very. When the plate with the pizza went flying out of his hand across the room.
Oh, no.
For no reason. Mike didn't do this. Then,
Was the pizza still on it?
yeah.
There should be a Ouija movie where like everything got out of control, so they put the Ouija board in the closet, and then they order a pizza, and that little table on the pizza starts scooting all around the pie.
Or they use a piece of pizza as the planchette.
Yes.
Into the cheese, and then sliding all over the board with the pizza grease.
And they take a bite out of the center
Yeah.
so that it can be the little window in the pizza.
Yeah.
This is good.
So there's a pizza planchette.
Now we're pizza planchette. We're onto something.
That's a good movie.
Pizza planchette.
think
Haunted
it's good.
pizza, paranormal pizza, para pizza. We'll work on it.
Yeah, we'll get there. So then around Christmas time, things start to get worse.
Oh, no.
They have a bunch of friends over, and all of a sudden, this is the only thing that has anything to do with toys.
Yeah, all right. I don't care.
Apologies.
Ouija board is a toy.
I know.
Mind you.
I thought that too.
It may not be humanoid.
For some reason, the memory of this episode stuck in my head, and I thought that the toys were a bigger deal, but then I was already in it, and it was already good, so I was eh.
This is funny, too, because it already makes me think of the movie Poltergeist a lot, like
Yeah.
the closet door is opened.
Yeah.
In Poltergeist, the closet is like the portal
spot.
to the netherworld. And the toys in Poltergeist, they come to life, and like little wind-up toys
Yeah.
are inching their way across the floor and stuff. Like, this feels like that.
Well, there's a reason it feels like that, because it is that. That's what happens. So they're having this party with their friends. They're sitting around chatting, and all of a sudden, Brody's toys that they had put to the side of the room start going off. It's just a few of his toys at first, but then more and more, and it's just like chaos.
Yeah.
They're lighting up, music is playing, cars are zooming. They've got all their friends over and stuff, and the friends are like, what the hell? And then
You're
just
embarrassing me in front of my company.
Right. Vox.
Yeah.
And then just as suddenly as it started, it stops. But it made the vibe weird, so people started leaving. They were
Wow.
like, okay, have a good night, whatever.
I just remembered. I have to go to church. It's 11:30. Yeah, I know. It's a midnight service. It's June. Like any rebuttal.
Totally.
Yeah.
So then it was undeniable. Like, they felt like they could kind of kid themselves at first and be like, oh, we're just being crazy. Like, there was a draft that made it feel like something was whooshing by us. Like, I had Butterfingers and my pizza plate went flying. But now all their friends saw it. So they're
I
like...
had Butterfingers for lunch.
and pizza for dinner. And so now it's like a little bit more real, and they started to be afraid it was going to hurt someone. The older son, who does talking heads in this thing, he's like a teenager during the filming, said that he felt like it was especially strong by Brody's room. And he didn't like to turn his back on the room because it just like there was like a weird vibe. But Brody was always fine. He was never attacked, anything, but just like there was something going on.
You could sense it.
Yes. So one night, Lisa woke up with pain in her leg, and she looked, and it was a 6-inch scratch. Classic demonic behavior.
Yes.
Then, it's silent, and then all of a sudden, Brody starts screaming from the nursery. So she runs in, and he's pointing to the closet, which had been closed when they put him down, but now it's flung open. The same thing happens a few days later, where Brody wakes up in the middle of the night, is upset, pointing at the closet, flung open. So this time she ties the doors shut, and she walks away and hears them shaking like they're fighting the ties. So they felt like they couldn't move. Again, just like kind of classic haunted house stuff. They invested too much in the house, whatever. They just have to sort of deal with it.
It's not easy to pick up and leave.
No, certainly not. So they're just like going on with life as best they can. And one day, Lisa went to go get Brody from his room after his nap. And she's just like holding him, like just starts to turn and walk out of the door. And she sees a black figure in the hallway. So just comes back in. And it's like, oh my God, what the hell? And just waited and would like peek every once in a while. And the figure was still there. And so she's like, oh, I can't go out there. Until finally it wasn't there. And she walked out and, was like, all right, this is enough. Like, not only are physical things happening. I just saw a physical figure. We got to do something. And they said that they didn't feel comfortable trying to get in touch with a church. I don't know if it just wasn't their thing or what, but they were put in touch with somebody whose name is Johnny Grey Wolf Flores.
Okay.
And they really don't explain who he is beyond saying that they didn't want to go to the church. But he seems like he is some sort of healer.
Okay.
So he said he felt like it really had to do with the stairs and asked if there was anything going on upstairs because they hadn't mentioned, like, you know, where stuff was going on. And they said that actually, yeah, the Ouija board is upstairs, and they told him the story. He told them that Vox was attached to Lisa through the board and that they needed to get rid of it. And she said she felt super ashamed because this was like all her fault.
Because they've been using it 3 times a day for months.
Right, exactly. But it was years ago at this point.
Okay.
But he's saying he's attached to you, Lisa, through this board. And then he recommended something that I had never heard of before. It was very interesting. Grey Wolf told them that water is the one element that doesn't allow spirits to travel. So they need to get this Ouija board into water. So, you know, like, water is conducive to electricity,
right,
but not to the spirit realm.
That's interesting.
I know. I've never heard this before. So they filled up a kiddie pool in their, like, a little, like, attached shed thing, or detached shed thing, filled up a kiddie pool, wrapped the board in a personal item of Lisa's, because Grey Wolf said that that would help, and then and he had her tell the spirit board that it wasn't welcome and that it had to go. Then they submerged the board in the water in the kiddie pool and weighed it down with like a jug so that it couldn't rise back up.
Whoa.
So essentially like drowning the spirit of Vox and the board.
Well, but isn't it still there? Like when you take it back out eventually?
I don't know.
You have to keep that kiddie pool forever.
Well, yes, because here's the thing. They do that. They go back in and they said that the house felt lighter, and it seemed to them that it even looked lighter. They felt like the sun was just hitting it different and everything was good for a while. So they did leave the board that way in that shed in a kiddie pool of water for 6 months. Ew.
Yuck.
It's probably really gross. Until the activity started again.
Oh.
So the show symbolically...
He learned how to swim, Vox.
Yeah, apparently. So the show kind of symbolically shows the water ripple all of a sudden, like he's woken.
Right.
And it's fun and awesome. So then it cuts to real life footage, like phone footage, of the board burning in a charcoal grill. And the text says that they called Grey Wolf back to destroy it for good. And then they don't really do a follow-up and say, like, it worked. So I can only assume that it did the trick.
They did like the classic documentary thing of just like fade to black and the text will wrap up loose ends.
It didn't really wrap up loose ends though. The text,
well, but like theoretically, the text is just supposed to be like, here's how the story continued from this point.
Yeah, the text just says they called back Grey Wolf, and they show him burning the board, and that's like it.
Isn't it funny how like sometimes stories just arbitrarily like, well, we dramatized the water and the idea that he woke back up, but we stop at the notion of calling the guy back to set it on fire. We'll put that on the screen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they show the guy setting it on fire.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the phone footage that was like the real family took.
Okay.
But then they just put text on the screen saying.
Good, because I was like, why
Grey Wolf
arbitrarily
back?
not like really end the story for real though? It's funny too that it's like water is the one element
I
that
know.
it can't travel through unless we set. Oh wait, I didn't think about this last year, but I guess we could set it on fire.
Well, I guess like they didn't want to destroy it or something. Like you could, submerge it and it sort of. I mean, I have no idea, but it somehow
sure, you can
suppresses.
pick up another one from Milton Bradley.
I don't know.
2-day shipping.
But Vox was attached to the board. No, it was attached to Lisa through the board. I don't know. But that's what happened there.
Interesting. Okay.
However, I was still curious and thinking to myself, all right, even if I'm not finding other like demonic haunted toys, why is it always toys and dolls and stuff like that? What is the reason for spirits to want to possess them? And I did find a little something. I found a site that said that it's because of all of the strong emotion that is often attached to. This is all doll centric. I'll stop beating around the bush. I wrote down toys. It's about dolls.
Dolls are toys.
They are.
It's not our fault that they've monopolized the
They
conversation.
completely have.
They've ruined everything.
I know. Or maybe they're just no haunted toys. It's all dolls.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
But anyway, the Llewellyn website, which is a publishing house for sort of like supernatural material, theorizes that it's because humans form such strong attachments to dolls and their emotions, all the biggies, joy at seeing your doll, suffering and you're hugging your doll, can become attached to that doll, and they almost can take on a life of their own, creating sort of like a thought form egregore sort of effect.
Egregore?
Yeah, so it's basically like what we've referred to as a tulpa before, like kind of something being created. That's also known as an egregore or egregore. I don't know. But anyway, tulpa is really a more religious term that is in Buddhism.
Oh, so I didn't realize that.
I kind of knew it at the time that we talked about it, but it's a little bit cooler to just refer to it as the general name.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What?
It's cool. I didn't realize that I was using like a passé term.
Not passé. It's not respectful to be talking about it as a tulpa.
Oh, it's cooler. Like it's more chill.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were being like, I found a cooler term.
No, because you're talking about somebody's like religious beliefs. When you're like, it made a tulpa.
Right.
So it's more respectful to refer to it as a thought form or an egregore.
Oh, if respect is your thing.
I didn't know that, and now I've learned it. So in this way, you can basically substitute any item of significance with doll, but it does seem to be a thing that dolls sort of elicit these feelings in people and then can become, animated or whatever.
That's interesting.
Kind of like a poltergeisty sort of effect, where it's not a ghost that's doing it. It's like your own emotion.
Yeah.
But then when that doll or toy moves to a new house, like if it's donated or something, that energy can still be felt and it could be interpreted as a haunting by a ghost, even if it's not, even if it's just like residual energy from the last owner. And so in that way,
it's like you sold your toaster on Facebook Marketplace, right? And you had cooked, like fish in it.
Right.
Right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Or, does anyone toast fish?
Yes, they do.
Okay,
yes.
Good. So you toasted fish and then you sold it. And they thought that they were getting like a lightly used toaster, but when they use it smells a little fishy in there.
Yeah.
It's the same notion.
It's exactly that.
Yeah. I played with this toy. I put a lot of myself into it.
Yeah.
Right? My energy lingered.
Yep.
Right? It's got a stinky BO on it that now the next house is picking up as a haunting.
Right, exactly. They think it's a ghost, but it's really just all of your joy or suffering or whatever made manifest.
Can't make it any clearer than that.
Right. Of course, it certainly could be the dead too. Dolls are also a great vessel for action. They got those great opposable limbs. Real fun to use.
Sure, baby Oopsie put them to great use.
That's absolutely right. So, they could just go for it in a blank toy so that they can dominate it, or they could be attracted to the owner's residual emotional energy that the toy is holding.
Ah, okay.
Be like, I like this.
Right.
It's got a bunch of like human static electricity on it.
I'm going to get in there.
Yep. So either way, it can lie dormant. Maybe just the right environment or owner can inspire it to act in noticeable ways. It's unpredictable. We don't know what the hell's going to happen. Also, I was thinking, if kids are more likely to see the paranormal than adults are because they're not closed off to it yet, perhaps that's why we're always like, oh, that doll's haunted, whatever. Because maybe the kids are spotting it because they have more proximity with a doll.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Thank you.
Chrissy, I like it.
Thank
and
you
you think
very
you shouldn't
much.
be on the History Channel?
I suppose I should.
I firmly I want to see you up there next week.
Pop me on there.
All right.
Well, you better be right there beside me.
I don't want to.
No, you have to.
I'm not that interested in that.
But you must.
I think you do better there. You go there.
Okay. You can go on AMC and talk about horror movies with, what's that guy's name? Who's the man who does, is whoever with me?
What are you saying to me? What?
You're right.
What are you talking about?
What's the guy who does Inside the Actor's Studio?
Oh, that man? He's been dead for a long time.
All the spookier.
Inside the Actor's
You can talk
Studio,
about film. Yes.
Talk about James Lipton?
Yes. You can go on.
I think he's dead low these past 7 years.
I think you're correct.
James Lipton.
I think that you can go on and talk about film.
Okay, 4 years, almost 5.
Sure.
No, wait.
So I'll go on the History Channel. You go on AMC.
Oh, no, he died in 2020.
Oh, okay.
This is freshly dead.
Yeah, it's fresh.
Well, there you go, everybody.
There it is. So
Demonic toys.
Yes. So we hope you enjoyed that. We hope that you're having a really enjoyable holiday season, however you celebrate or don't. And thank you for hanging out with us here at Guides to the Unknown.
We greatly, greatly appreciate it.
We do.
Please feel free to go poke around patreon.com/GTTUpod. I believe you referred to it as our lifeblood.
Yeah, something
And
like that.
I thought that was great. That's how you keep us alive.
Definitely.
You know? So we know for a fact that you're going to find some stuff that's a lot of fun there that will keep you entertained.
Yep.
If you require more Guide to the Unknown, and I mean, who doesn't? Come on.
Right.
It's the end of the year. Treat yourself.
Yeah.
Gift yourself. Join the party.
Absolutely.
You can also follow at GTTUpod on all social media. We also have accounts.
Yep. I'm at Chillin' Kristen.
I'm at The Myth Traveler. So thank you all so much for hanging out with us.
Yeah.
Happy holidays. Hope you're all well.
Yep.
And we'll see you next week for the final Guide to the Unknown of the year.
That's right.
But until that time comes, we must travel.
Back to the netherworld go we. We, all the way home.